Hello everyone, my name is Evie Lupine. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you all. Today we are going to be talking about mentors and protectors. I have a video that I did about a year ago now, I think maybe longer than that, where I talked exclusively about protectors, and if you haven't seen that video, do check it out. Link will be down in the description box below. And that's definitely one of my older videos, and for me, especially over that last year since I filmed that video, and especially over the last 3 to 4 months, I have really been thinking about where I want to take my own BDSM journey. Who do I want to be when I'm BDSM and I am 25, 30, 35? Do I want to be a mentor? Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be a community organizer? Sort of what are my goals? And part of that process internally has been me really thinking about what roles like mentor and protector really mean, and especially in conjunction with there's so many of you out there, and especially those of you who are coming to my channel who have never done BDSM before, who are curious but don't know where to start. Terms like mentor and protector come up a lot, and it's really easy, unfortunately, if you are new and you don't have anybody else to talk to, you don't have any other basis of bearings for what is going on in the world of BDSM, to have somebody convince you that they should be your protector or mentor, or convince you why you should need one, and frankly it can be a little bit predatory. So hopefully in this video I will be able to cover some things so that way you know better what a mentor and a protector typically is. And this is going to be really my opinion. Everything in BDSM, I can offer guidelines about generally how the larger community sees things, but it is also definitely up to you and your personal relationships. This is more meant as a guide to, if you are new in the community and you think you might want a mentor or protector, or somebody has asked to be one for you, what does that actually mean? And that's really what this video is about, just very bare bones, laying it out there. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty long video, so let's go ahead and start covering some definitions here of what a protector is, because I think that one is a little bit easier to nail down than what a mentor is. So a protector is functionally somebody who acts as a guardian for another person. Most of the time this is going to be somebody who is submissive, although it can certainly work for switches as well. Dominance, I don't really see, I don't think I've ever seen having a protector relationship where the one being protected is a dominant, although you never know, things happen, but it is more a role where a submissive is being protected by almost always a dominant type. It can definitely be a switch as well, or a well-respected submissive in the community. Usually people pursue protectors when they are brand new to the community, if they've just experienced a breakup, if they are experiencing harassment, or if they're online and they are just getting absolutely flooded with messages from everybody all over the internet, all over their local FetLife community, just absolutely spamming them and not respecting their boundaries. And we can have a whole conversation, and I would love to do this at some point, where we really address how toxic it is that the concept of a protector even really needs to exist. Like, a protector exists to guard somebody from somebody else. What kind of community do we have if a submissive has to have a male dominant typically between her and everybody else in the world in order to feel safe? There's probably a discussion to be had there, but not in this video. So that's basically what it is. What form that takes obviously depends on the situation and what sphere this is happening in. Online, a protector will typically be somebody who acts as a filter for messages. They may also read messages that the submissive is sending out. They may read and monitor posts for the submissive. They may monitor just any kind of messaging or contact in general, comments on photos, comments on writings, all that stuff. They are basically there to see everything that the submissive is potentially interacting with. And especially on FetLife, a lot of people will say, hey, this is who my protector is. You need to go to him first before you message me. So they kind of act as an intermediary between any contact of the submissive or the switch, whoever they happen to be, however they identify. And that's primarily the role of a protector online. If you were dealing with a protector in real life, depending on the situation you're dealing with, especially if you're trying to be somebody to literally be a guardian against a specific person in the community, can take on a much more direct role. They may be somebody that the submissive goes to events with, and they kind of monitor the situation and make sure that the submissive is doing okay. Real life, you have to be a little bit more careful with how the protector might be filtering interactions, because typically in the real life community, with some exceptions, every individual community is different. If you are going to an event and you tell somebody, hey, before you talk to me, you need to go talk to this person first, it will usually take people a bit aback and raise a few eyebrows. What? Because that really doesn't happen in the real life community. There are people who will go to events together who will kind of have sort of a buddy system, but it's usually not the same level of directness as you experience online, because frankly the sort of interaction you have in the real life community is less abrasive and has less messages where people say, hey, send me pictures of your feet like 20 times a day. So it's less necessary typically for a protector in real life to have that same level of filtering. But again, they will go to events with you. They will monitor you typically from afar. They may sit with you if you are at a munch, just something to help when you are in a particular event space, particularly if you've had a situation where maybe you were at a party or something and your partner at the time didn't respect red, so now you kind of have some trauma associated with that space, and having somebody who is going to be there to be able to help you and feel secure and safe in that environment again can be really, really helpful. But let's talk about what a protector is not, because I think there's a lot to be said about that, particularly if somebody approaches you to be a protector. Having a protector is not the same thing as having a BDSM relationship. You should not be playing. You should not be engaging in BDSM or power exchange. They should not be setting rules for you. Basically, if it's anything other than like friendly interaction, a protector is not meant to play that role. The reason for that is you negotiate for the two things differently. A protector is typically somebody you already know that you are friendly with, and you go to them and then you ask, hey, would you mind it if I attached my name to yours? I'm dealing with some harassment online. It might be helpful if I associate myself with somebody who's respected in the community, and that might be something that makes me feel more secure, especially if other people are reading my messages. Would you be able to do that? And that's pretty much the extent of the negotiation. Obviously, the dominant or whoever the protector is going to be is going to offer input on how much of that protection they can offer, what exactly that will look like. But if you're getting into the territory where a protector is giving you rules and playing with you, you need to negotiate for a full-on BDSM relationship, because that is not what a protector does. So you need to make sure if you're going to call somebody your protector and they take on more than just that specific scope of like helping you interact with the BDSM community, you need to make sure that you negotiate for that very, very explicitly. Something that's going to come up probably more than a few times in this video is I find that a lot of people, not anybody specifically, but I think there's a larger misconception for people who are new to the BDSM community and who were introduced to it online, that one, if you're new, you need a protector, and two, that you can sort of almost use terminology like mentor or trainer or protector is like having BDSM without really calling it a BDSM relationship, and that's not really what these things are for. If you want a BDSM relationship, negotiate for a BDSM relationship. A protector, a mentor, is not meant to be BDSM light, let's say. And that's a term I got from Loving BDSM, which is a great podcast, by the way. And they use that term when they have had conversations about this on their podcast before, where you want a BDSM relationship, but you don't necessarily want all of the fixtures of what we typically associate with a full BDSM relationship where it's romantically and sexually intertwined. And you can have that type of BDSM relationship without having to call it a protector or a mentor, or say that you want a trainer or something like that. All BDSM relationships have levels of nuance, and if you want a relationship that is based on like mutual friendship but doesn't have romantic or sexual elements, and you want them to do some of the things that a protector would do plus add in BDSM elements, you can do that, and you should pursue that actively and say, I want a BDSM relationship, here's what it looks like, rather than saying, oh, I find somebody to be my protector, and then trying to like shoehorn in a bunch of BDSM on top of that, because it's not gonna work. And I do just want to clearly outline here too, I want to emphasize this, is a protector should be somebody that you know. A random person that you have just met at a munch cannot be your protector, because you don't know what their reputation is and if they are actually a good person. And this is really, 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 really important, because the idea of a protector is they are supposed to help keep away potential bad people, help you know what somebody's reputation is, help you know if somebody is safe to interact with, and prevent that from happening. But if somebody offers to be your protector and you don't know anything about them, how can you know that they are doing the right thing and they are having the right judgment on deciding who gets to interact with you and how they get to interact with you? So a protector should be somebody that you already know and can help you navigate the community, because they already have experience in it and they already kind of know who the movers and shakers are, who has the bad reputation, who has the good reputation, all of that kind of thing. If somebody approaches you at a munch and, you know, oh, hey, you're new, you're submissive, right? Because you're a female presenting person and you dress like a submissive. Do you have a protector? I think you need a protector. Would you like me to be that for you? And you're just like, what? That should be a complete red flag, full stop moment. No, because you have no idea who that person is, and you should not be allowing them to have that kind of control over your interactions, because that can very quickly lead to abusive territory, and you do not want to go there. So make sure you are establishing some kind of relationship, some kind of rapport with somebody before you establish them as your protector. Another good thing to keep in mind is that ideally a protector relationship should not be forever. A protector is usually somebody who offers guardianship when you need it, offers you a place to go to when you need assistance, making sure that you are not being harassed, that certain people aren't interacting with you, helping you filter through messages. Ideally, a good protector is somebody who is able to finish their job protecting you, because you've either found a full DS relationship that you were waiting for, you have been able to resolve some of your trauma, you've been able to mitigate the harassment enough to where it's no longer a problem, you've been able to resolve any emotional issues you've had with trying to deal with the breakup. Eventually the job of a protector should end. It's not meant to be a lifelong BDSM dynamic. Now, you may be in a situation where you find at multiple points in your life you need a protector, and that's fine. But ideally, a protectorship shouldn't be lasting like 5 or 10 years. It's more meant to be a sort of temporary thing where issues are resolved or pain is healed before moving on with your life independently again. Particularly if you're new and you do find somebody, you know, maybe you have a friend who's in the BDSM community already and they're dominant and you've known them for years and years, and you decide you want to pursue BDSM as well until they offer to be your protector for your first couple of months. That's what it should be. They should be able to help you feel safe in that moment for a couple months, or, you know, a year or two or something like that, and then eventually the baby bird will develop its wings and be able to fly away from the nest of protectorship, you know, as a happy and healthy independent submissive, because I think that's what we should all be striving for communities that allow submissives to feel safe without protectors, strive for healthy interactions with other people, strive to learn how to deal with difficult situations on our own as submissives. Now, obviously, there are definitely situations that are outside the realm of any individual person to be able to handle on their own. But learning the skills of being able to navigate, okay, how can I tell this person is safe or not? How can I tell this person to stop bothering me? Those should ideally be skills that you are learning in the process of having a protector, so eventually you don't need them anymore. So we've already talked a little bit about what to do if somebody approaches you. Obviously, if you don't know them, you should just decline and say no. If it's somebody that you already know and they notice, maybe they know that you're going through a hard time, maybe you know you've just broken up with somebody, maybe again it's a friend who has been in the community and you're new but they already have some experience, you should ask them, okay, you know, if you're approaching me to be my protector, what does that mean to you? And give them the floor to say what that means, and that will give you a really clear idea without giving anything away yourself of what they intend to do. Because I would be wary, especially again if you're new, and I want to give people the skills, if possible, to avoid any potential for abuse or manipulation. If you say, oh, that'd be great, I'd love it if you could do XYZ thing for me, they are going to potentially, if they are a bad person and a non-trustworthy person, repeat back whatever you want to hear in order to get you to say yes. So if you just leave it as a blank slate and give them the floor first to say what they are willing to do, you will be in a much better position negotiating wise to understand what their true motives are. So if possible, if somebody approaches you first, ask them what that means to them, so you have an idea of what they are seeking and if that's something that is going to work for you. And really, if it's somebody that you know already and you think it may be helpful for you, and you have talked to them and what they say that they can do matches what you want to do, it's not even really much of a negotiation. You're just saying, okay, here's how we're going to handle doing this, and you can go ahead and try it out, and if it doesn't work, you're not soul bound to them forever, so it's not like if it doesn't work out, it's going to be the end of the world. Now, if you are somebody who is seeking a protector, I think it's important to be a little bit more mindful of how you negotiate things, because usually if somebody's offering them and you know them and you feel comfortable, it's a little bit easier to come to a resolution. But if you're just like announcing to the world, I need a protector, who's willing to be my protector for me, that can be really, really fraught territory. So just be really careful about who you are selecting. If you are approaching somebody specifically to be a protector, if you're going through a really hard time right now, please be aware of how you are phrasing things, because you don't want to come across as manipulative, and you don't want to come across as like emotionally overbearing because you're having a hard time. You want somebody to be your protector because they want to be, not because they've been guilted into it because, oh, well, I know she's having a hard time right now, or they just went through a really bad breakup, so I guess I gotta help them out. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to come to a place of agreeing to a protectorship and negotiating for that, where both parties feel like they are able to have their needs and their voices heard. And if you go into it kind of overladen with emotion about why you need a protector, that can kind of start things out on uneven territory. So just be aware of that. I would also make sure that you can vet this person. I would make sure you talk to anybody who has a relationship with this person about who they are. Ask your local community about them. Make sure you have a very clear understanding of where all the boundaries are going to be. So if you say, I'm looking for a protector, again, I would be a little bit wary about outlining exactly what that means, because again, you can end up in the situation where somebody is going to just repeat back whatever they think that you want to hear in order to get a yes, which is a really bad situation. You can just say something like, I'm looking for a protector because I've been struggling with XYZ reason, and then you can come to a space where you both are able to talk together about what you think is the best way to pursue protectorship that would allow you to resolve or work through the issue or deal with the troublesome person. But yeah, that's, I think, everything I want to talk about for protectors. This ended up being a really long video, so I am going to cut it into 2 parts. I'm going to talk about mentors next. I guess that'll end up being a second video, because otherwise this is going to be like 45 minutes long. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here in a couple days, maybe before this. I'm not sure what order I'm going to post these in. I will be doing a video on mentorship and what that means, and how to find a mentor in that, which I didn't get to in this video, so do check that out. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to make sure you are able to catch the second part of this video. If you really liked this video, please consider going to my Patreon. That is the best way to support my channel. That is what makes videos like this possible. Without you guys, I would not be able to do it. Thank you so much to all of you who support already. It really means a lot to me. And until I see you guys next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.